Hi, Eric Gibaud, ericgibaud.com, and today I am in Luxembourg with Jean-Paul Gauche and Fernando Ricardo, and we're going to speak about this lens, the Fujifilm TS 30mm, so tilt and shift, with this Fujifilm GFX 100 Mark II. So thank you to both of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for, well, no, I say thank you, you say no problem.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
I
can
thank you.
change
You
my
don't have to
mind.
thank me. I thank them. Okay, for going around. Okay, so let's start. Hey, I am in Tenerife. Well, yeah, I recorded what you're going to see a few months ago. I want to thank Olivier Saint-Géry from Fujifilm France, who lent me all that gear. Actually reviewed the GFX 100 Mark II and the 55mm 1.7, 80mm 1.7. Thanks to him. Video here, okay. And I still had to present this 30mm tilt and shift, and also have a 110 to present sometime. It's already recorded, okay. But honestly, this lens is incredible. For people who've been doing photography for many years, they know that tilt and shift lenses are great for interior, for architecture, for landscape, but sadly in digital photography we don't see that many, and we don't see any made by the camera brands except Fujifilm, who has created this 30mm tilt and shift, and also a 90mm tilt and shift. I didn't try that one, okay. So I'm going to go back to Metz in France. Well, actually I'm not flying there, it's already recorded what I recorded in the hotel, to show you well how that kind of lens works, the tilt, the shift, the buttons, all this, and then some example of what I did with it, with and without applying the shift or the tilt, to give you an idea, and then I will come back for my conclusion. Honestly, spoiler alert, as people say, incredible lens. It's a incredible tool. Okay, so let's carry on. This lens looks like a transformer, okay? This is crazy. Here you have a small foot for a tripod mount. You need it because that kind of lens is normally used for architecture or landscape, and you need to have this completely steady to orientate and move and do all the movement of this. So this is why I'm going to place it on the tripod to show you how it works. But as you can see, this is really massive, many things, wheels, all this to touch, okay, but really impressive. So here's the lens, okay, let's put here, okay. As you can see, you have the tripod mount. Obviously you can turn and lock all this like any tripod mount for lenses, okay. And here you have many things. Here you have like this friction. This is to control how easy it is to move things, okay. And here you have a lock. That's really important, this lock, because if you don't need the tilt, lock it, because it's like half a degree is wrong, the tilt will make that the picture won't be sharp, okay. The tilt is for that. The tilt, as you can see, is the full body that moves, okay. This is to change the depth of field, okay, to place it where you want, okay. And then you have the shift, and the shift is here, and as you can see, the shift is moving the camera this way, okay, to correct the perspective. And you can rotate the body as you want. 90, 30, as you can see here, I've got 90 degrees, and here, you can hear the sound, up to 90 degrees, okay? So if I wanted the shift to be vertical, I would do it this way, okay? And as you can see now, the shift is vertical, okay? Obviously, you can combine everything. Say, like, I want this vertical, but then I want the tilt to be horizontal, okay? Now I move the full thing again, and now I've got tilt that is vertical and shift that is vertical also, okay. So it sounds complicated. It is a bit complicated at the beginning, but once you played with it for a while, you really know how to use it, okay. But it is really an amazing lens. The build is incredible, and yeah, it sounds a bit difficult at the beginning, but once you really are used to the movement of this, that's not that problematic, okay. But yeah, that's really great build, really nice lens, okay. So let's look at some example. First, this house on the street, I was placed lower than the house. Okay, so as you can see, you have the way it goes is that the way it goes makes that the vertical line and not parallel. They go towards each other. So when I correct with the shift and the tilt, in this case the shift, I correct the perspective and it's parallel, so it's corrected. The following picture is the big square in front of the cathedral in Metz in France, and as you can see, same thing. I make some correction and now I've got the full place. So I know that many people may say, yeah, but you can do that in post-production, and you're right. But there's a massive difference between post-production in a computer and making it with the lens. The difference is that first, when you know you will correct in post-production, you need to make a much larger picture because you don't know what will fall out of your picture when you correct. Okay, so you will lose some resolution because as you don't know, you get a lot more picture around your subject than you actually need or may need, you're not sure. Okay, in this case, while you correct, you see weight cuts, if it's fine or not, or if you should step back to fit more things in there, you know straight away. And second, when you do a computer correction, it actually stretches each pixel where it needs or narrow it in other parts. So actually you lose sharpness, you lose image quality because yeah, maybe your pixel on your picture is half a millimeter and it needs to be 5 millimeters wide. So obviously it will stretch and you will lose all details, all quality, all this. So there is a massive difference. This is why people who need to correct this prefer to have that kind of lens than to do post-production correction. Okay. The following picture is a really narrow street. As you can see, I am in the street. So as you can see, the top is really narrow and the bottom is wide. And once it's corrected, I get parallel sides. So I know some people will say, oh, I like this way that you have like a different perspective. Yes, but I speak about architectural correction. Some people need to have this corrected. Obviously, if it's an artistic point of view, maybe you don't like it. You prefer to have this different point of view than reality. Okay, yeah, reality. Then I mean the architectural reality doesn't mean this is what your eyes are seeing. Okay, that's different. Okay. Then the cathedral in Metz, same thing. Very often when we have monument in city, we don't have enough space to step back and be able to have yeah, less pronounced lines that gets together. Although sometimes if you would step back, it would be too small. We need to reframe anyway. So the good thing, as you can see, the first picture, my cathedral is going like a peak, okay, and the second one is parallel side, so it's perfect. Then you can use these lenses for panorama, whether vertical or horizontal. You just need to move the shift sideways if you're horizontal, or vertical way if you're vertical, obviously. In this case, I made 3 pictures, one centered, one at the maximum top, and one at the maximum bottom. And then I merged them in Photoshop, and as you can see now, I've got a vertical panorama. It's not complicated to do. It may be really useful for people who like to do panorama. I could have done it horizontally. I prefer this one because, well, the way it was horizontal, I didn't have things that like to see full horizontal, so that was fine. Okay. Then this picture of the bridge over the river, I made both correction, tilt and shift. And as you can see on the first picture, the front leaves on the floor, they're not sharp, they're out of focus, and I corrected to get more depth of field. So on the second picture, I've got maybe on the left it's not perfect. I'm not an expert in using this lens. I had to do a crash course to use it, okay, to learn how to use it and to know it better, okay. And as you can see on the second picture is everything is sharp except a small part on the left, okay. But as you can see, playing with tilt and shift, you can correct depth of field and also the way you will make your parallel correction, okay. Then the following picture is called the German door, I think. It's kind of castle, same thing. As you can see, the front part is out of focus, and the following one is more everything in focus. And then went to Luxembourg with Jean-Paul and Fernando, and I made more pictures than these two, but I made these towers, this building. As you can see, the correction is really clear. You can see how it goes from a pyramid look to a proper parallel sides. Okay, I want to say hi to Mohamed, who came and see me. He saw me from far away. He works there. Actually, he follows me in on YouTube. And last year I met him in Digit Photo in France, a shop I collaborate with his son. So I say hi to them. Thank you for coming and saying hi. Okay. As you can see, this lens really allows people who do architecture, indoor, landscape. There are many applications to allows them to make this correction that you need to have something that is not completely strangely shaped. Although more and more we accept these things that are not correct, I would say, what is correct in life, but I mean, that doesn't look like it was built. But still, there are some people who need to have this correction made. And as you can see, with this lens is fairly easy, okay, when you know how it works. Obviously, there is a learning curve, but yes, as you can see, it's not that hard to get the right correction. So some technical details. It's tilt shift and you can rotate, okay. The tilt is up to plus 8.5 degrees and down to minus 8.5 degrees. Shift is plus 15 millimeter, minus 15 millimeters. And one thing that I was really surprised, I've tried some tilt and shift lenses on reflex cameras and also some third party on full frame, okay, and there was some vignetting. So I was really surprised. There is no vignetting on this lens. The reason is simple. The circle is twice the size of the sensor. It means that even if you're at maximum correction, tilt and shift, maximum on everything, you will always cover the sensor. So you have not any fall light-wise, okay? So it means that you never have vignetting. So I was really surprised, and this is really fantastic. As you can understand, the tilt is for depth of field and the shift is for the perspective. I mainly used the shift because for landscape all this, it's more useful for me. But obviously it depends what you do. Some people would like to use tilt because they want to have a depth of field that follows a wall, for example, or some train railway or whatever, okay? And probably if instead of the 30mm you were using the 90mm 5.6 macro they've created too, okay? Then maybe you would use more the tilt to have like a product photography, to have everything in focus, probably more, okay? But for me, I use more the shift, okay? But it depends on each person. Just explain what I did. If we look at the construction, the build, 16 elements in 11 groups. There are 3 aspherical lenses in there, 1 super ED and 2 ED, and this is where you understand the quality. No flare problem, no. Sometimes you don't get a really strong flare, but you get some kind of milky aspect, and this is not the case. All the time at perfect, everything. No flare, no problem with sharpness. It was sharp from border to border. Obviously, if you make the right correction or if you place it parallel to your subject, then you see it's really sharp from border to border. Really good, okay? 30mm in medium format GFX by Fujifilm is the equivalent of 24mm on full frame. It means you cover an angle of 84.7 degrees, okay? And it opens from 5.6 up to f32. Most of the time I used it at f11. Why? Because I wanted to have everything in focus, okay? And I think people who use that kind of lenses, they normally want to have a lot in focus. Yeah, depends. Some people want something really different or really special or artistic or whatever. But in my case, I use it at f11, no diffraction problem, no problem. So yeah, really, really fantastic lens. The iris has 9 blades. So it means that, well, the autofocus is okay, creamy is acceptable, but I didn't play with that really because my idea was to get everything sharp and from border to border and perspective corrected and tilt corrected if needed, okay, so yeah. The minimum focusing distance is only 30 centimeters, which is great because you can do really some special application of things that are really close to you, so I really like that. And the size is massive, 138 millimeter, 138.5 millimeter long, 87.1 millimeter wide, and the weight is 1.340 kilos, 1340 grams, which is a lot. This is why you always need a tripod anyway, but even if you didn't have the tilt reason for that weight, it's logical to use tripod anyway. And the filter size is 105 millimeter. Well, honestly, the quality is stunning, okay? Yes, you need a tripod always. Why? Because when you make a correction, you cannot move again, okay? So it's logical to use a tripod, okay? And one thing, if you would see that your correction is not perfect in some areas, not because the lens has a problem, but because you didn't see it properly, you can always help a bit in post-production with software like Topaz AI Sharpen, for example, Sharpen AI, okay? That would fix most of it. But honestly, if you learn how to focus, it's a manual focus, it's hard to focus because you need to be really concentrated. I had some missed out because I was speaking with friends or people coming or seeing things, so I had some missed out. But really, if you concentrate yourself, focus properly, it's manual focus, you will have no problem, okay? But it's concentration. But actually, that kind of picture is always a lot of concentration. Same as large format film photography. You would look on the glass like this, on the ground glass, and make sure everything was fine, and then you shoot, okay? This is really similar. So the good thing on this, in this case, is that you can actually connect with the Fujifilm app and connect with a tablet, for example, and see a really large picture of what you're doing. So this way you could make the perfect correction before shooting, okay? That's a good point of digital photography. But I had a bit of hard time focusing also because I didn't manage to place the magnification glass where I wanted, the magnification where I wanted. It was my fault, okay? But once you know well the camera and everything, you have no problem. So honestly, this lens is stunning. From border to border, the correction can apply, no vignetting, really incredible. A fantastic tool, okay? The problem with other tilt and shift I had seen in the past is that there was no communication with the camera body. So you just look at the graduation and you knew exactly more or less what you were doing. But if you wanted to repeat, you had to take notes. I was on 5 degrees and this and so much shift or whatever. In this case, there is communication with the camera body. So in the viewfinder or on the screen and the EXIF, you have the information, how much rotation you had, how much tilt, how much shift, you have all this. So if you want to repeat or you want to test, move a bit, you know precisely what you're doing. When you look at graduation, sometimes you're not sure if you're on 3.5 degrees or 3.3 or 3.2. You don't see exactly. In this situation, you know exactly if you're on 3.4 degrees, you're on 3.4, not a bit more, not a bit less. That's precise. If you shift like 2 millimeters, you're on 2 millimeters, not 3, not 1.5. So you really know precisely. And I really love this because that makes you a precise tool and you know exactly what you're doing. You know what correction you're making. You know exactly if you want to make several pictures in a row, you can move precisely. A bit more, bit less, and you actually see what you're doing. Really, they created a lens that has that takes all the advantages of digital photography. I love it. So my conclusion: well, this lens is not for everybody. It depends what you do, okay? But what many people who do that kind of photography, like landscape, architecture, all this, need to see or understand is that there is a big difference in quality between a lens and post-production correction, okay? If you're going to publish on Instagram, no one is going to notice a difference. But if you want to print really large print, like 70 centimeter by 1 meter or 2 meter by something, okay, then if you do digital correction, the pixel that has stretched, you will notice it. It will be really obvious, okay? But if you have a lens correction, then the quality is superb from border to border. It's really perfect, okay? So if you do that kind of picture and print and sell them and make money with it, or just have fun, you just love it, it's your hobby and your passion and you do this, well, you will love this lens, okay? Some people will say, yes, but this lens is not the cheapest one, okay? You add the GFX 100 Mark II, that's also a lot of money, so that's a really high budget. Well, 1 second. First, you don't need to have this GFX 100 Mark II. You can have a GFX 50S Mark II, which is half the price, well, yeah, even a third of the price, okay? So you could perfectly use that, or even find a GFX 50R, that's still some for sale, okay? And you will use this lens. The important is the correction, is not the fact that you have 100 or 50 million pixels. That's not the same thing, but the important is the correction. Even if you have a 50 million pixel sensor, that's fine, okay? So I think many people use the wrong tool. Some people, they use a full frame, APS-C or Micro Four Thirds for that kind of picture and make a post-production correction. And some people have really high budget on cameras, but they don't have the right tool. So I think for many people who do landscape architecture, it's wiser or more useful to have that kind of camera, or even the cheaper version, 50 million pixel version, and use a lens like this than to have a really high price, high quality, high level full frame camera and no tilt and shift lens if you need that kind of picture. Obviously, if you don't do that kind of picture, there's no point. It doesn't matter. You don't actually need it, okay? So I speak for people who do that, okay? So honestly, if you are one of them and you can afford it, you will love it. If you can't afford it, well, that's not your fault. That's the way it is, and that's it, okay? No, there's no need to cry, okay? But honestly, if you can afford it, you do that kind of picture, you will love it. You will understand why people use this. The difference in quality is is massive, okay, between digital correction and an optical correction. So yes, for me, for these people who do that kind of picture, it's completely recommendable. For others, not recommendable, or yes, doesn't matter because it would not use it, okay? But if you're one of these photographers that do that kind of picture and wants to have a perfect correction, in camera correction with the lens, not digital correction, you will love it. You will feel that it's a great lens and you get great results. So for me, yes, it's a lens that is completely recommendable. It's stunning. I was impressed, okay? So thank you so much, Olivier Saint-Géry, for lending me this gear. Thank you to Digit Photo in France, presented him to me some time ago. And thank you to Jean-Paul and Fernando for driving me to Luxembourg and some places in Metz. And thank you to you for watching the video. If you feel it may interest other people, please share it on social networks. If you have not done it yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. The small button down here is a small bell. If you click on the bell, get notified when I upload a new video. My website, ericgibaud.com. If you have any question, can leave a comment below. Also leave you links of my gear on Amazon, links of everything I reviewed by K&F Concept, Sandmarc, and Flashes by Westcott. More affiliated links and also links to my PayPal account in case you want to make a donation. Thank you very much. Please take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye.